you, XQC, you thief bitch.
When you're on Adderall and you use it a lot, you get pretty fucking angry.
Felix and I broke up because he cheated on me.
You are a bad person. You are not a good person, dude.
A platform where a guy is getting a job and throwing coke parties with porn stars isn't exactly where I want to spend my advertising dollars. But there's another problem, and that problem is their biggest creator, and that problem is platforming white nationalists and telling people to go end themselves. So what's the solution?
XQC just signed a $100 million deal.
Kick is to change the face of their company from a brand risk to one of the world's biggest streamers, who immediately became a brand risk. Now, illegally watching The Dark Knight on stream is one thing, but taking content from your fellow creators will turn the internet against you. I don't actually mind React content as long as both parties are okay with it. YouTubers tried to get rid of React content in the past and it didn't do anything. The market for it is always going to be there. Until creators and companies start issuing DMCAs, this isn't going away. The problem with XQC, however, is how many enemies he was able to make because of how combative he can become. If he's able to just have a regular conversation, this whole drama could have been avoided. I'm sure he missed a few times, but more often than not, XQC does ask for permission to react to content.
He's the only creator of this group who reached out to me and asked if he could do React content and post it on YouTube.
And he's willing to work with other creators to make a better system, because his intent is not to cause harm, but he can't articulate himself at all. And that was very clear in his debate with H3H3. Does he care?
Do you care at all about like IP or copyright?
No.
Does he not care?
I care enough about it to where it affects me.
XQC was so focused on getting a dunk on Ethan that he lost focus and started hurling insults.
So as we go forward, you are fucking bald. You're very bald. You're balding. Your hair's thinning and it's gray, which means that you're old as fuck. Got it.
He lost the debate so badly that Ethan's biggest haters are saying that he won. The only highlight for X being that he did the worm. Friends, not friends, friends again. Friends, not friends, friends again. There seems to be some commitment issues. There was a lot of drama after XQC signed with Kick, and none of it had to do with gambling. It was about morals. I don't know how many people care about gambling itself, but I think if you're using Stake for anything other than entertainment, you're an idiot. Stake's co-owner is a billionaire, they have Drake as an ambassador.
Embarrassing!
And they have enough money to give XQC $100 million. Why would you want to gamble on that platform? Logically, that should tell you they're about to take your money. XQC admits he's addicted.
I think it's fun, man. I'm addicted.
But to him, this was never about gambling, but more about people taking the moral high ground and being hypocrites about it. And that seems to be the theme here.
Are you like some sort of hero or something like that? Because it seems like you do a lot of that and you take the high road on it. You take the high road on that.
XQC can acknowledge what he does is bad, but he uses that to unapologetically be himself. We saw this on Reddit's rPlace, where communities come together to create pixelated art, and XQC came through to destroy their art to build a giant Charizard that he never maintained, by the way, thus turning a lot of different communities against him. But just like his inability to maintain that Charizard, he also struggles to maintain his relationships. XQC is somebody who shows up late to events, or just outright flakes on his friends. When he didn't show up to shit camp, he eventually had to admit he lied about the reason.
Okay, you want to hear the truth? I did not want to go.
But he's notorious for doing this.
It doesn't matter how famous you are. You know, I think ultimately being a dick to everyone and like wasting everyone's time and money because they trusted you to turn up is just really disrespectful. And I think people universally just dislike that.
XQC can go from cutting off a friend to making amends again and then throwing them under the bus when it's advantageous to do so.
You guys didn't say shit initially for the longest time until Miz did and you hopped on this.
And I don't think it's a bad thing to call out your friends for their bad behavior. But on the surface, it seems like XQC only cares about XQC. An ego that's become so big, he thought he won that debate with Ethan and then made a fool out of himself in the DMs. But there was a message in those DMs that stood out to me. Those things money can't buy aren't going to be found through gambling and hanging out with Aiden Ross. And for some reason, Charleston White was there.
We used to run trains on white girls.
Choo-choo!
Robin Hood. We used to do it without permission. commission.
That's not a good look. Speaking of Kick, hopefully for the final time, there's an aspect of that deal that I don't think many people have talked about. People looked at this move and thought Twitch's days are numbered, and I'm not sure I believe that. After all, there's commentary channel after commentary channel that seems to know something I don't, but after watching them I realized they're not really saying anything, complaining about policies that, for the most part, were reverted back. Was it finished 10 months ago or 1 month ago? Is it gonna die in 7 years, or should we change that title? Twitch's sub-split is worse than its competition. They have non-stop pre-roll ads. They enforce an ad-friendly terms of service to the detriment of their creators. And yet they're the only platforms doing the things that can make money. And they're still struggling. Mixer took one of their biggest streamers, they survived. YouTube took one of their biggest streamers, they survived. XQC is currently 2% of Twitch's audience, and maybe 1% will go over to Kick. But the one thing that nobody seems to talk about is what I mentioned earlier, and that's commitment. What XQC does after his 2 years are over will determine if Kick can stay viable or not, without considering other signings. Will he still stream there, and how often? Yeah, he has some equity in the company, but we'll see how much that matters to somebody like him. Twitch is a platform that slowly grew with XQC. They first entertained somebody like Ice Poseidon, but became more attached to X as he became more popular. But as Twitch started to become bigger, XQC decided to move on to a platform that dabbles in unethical crypto businesses. Did I say Twitch? I actually meant
heavy set.
I never scammed anyone.
I'm just kidding. Regardless of what's going on with XQC's breakup, I'm not a fan of people using it for a petty feud. And the best thing to do here is what he hated others for doing. Take the moral high road. But there has to be a reason why these relationships are ending really badly. There was a lot of recent drama with XQC, his friends, and his ex-girlfriends. And to be honest, most of it doesn't really matter because I don't trust any of these people. But for someone who wants happiness, XQC manages to find a way to make things miserable for himself.
A lot of your juicers think that I'm lying about you cheating on me. Can you please confirm or deny?
I will confirm.
Commitment isn't actually the issue. What he's committed to is. His selfish actions have caused rifts in his friendships, and he's hurt people along the way because of it.
I was blinded by a lot of things, and I would do it again. I don't care, dude. I would do it again. I don't give a fuck.
He's created a strain with his coworkers, his friendships, his relationships, and his family. Nowadays, things may seem more combative, but there was a time where it used to just be fun. And hopefully it can go back to that. Because right now, over 50,000 people are watching you live a shallow life, hopping from room to room, while you're still trying to figure out what it's going to take to escape your loneliness.